Okay, project 1. Go to the module and open up the instructions. So it says to describe the report. The report is in our scenario. We want to see if we can predict housing prices, and we want to see if the square feet of a house can predict the housing prices. The linear regression is used when there is a constant increase, and the linear regression should be used when the scatter plot, the dots form a line. The difference between response and predictor variables in regression: the response variable is y, which is what we're trying to predict, which is our list price. The predictor variable is the variable x, which is our square feet. The predictor variable is what should influence the response variable. We think that square feet influences list price. Okay, so we're going to move on to our data selection. We're going to select a random sample, and we're going to use our real estate data. Okay, so we've opened up our data, and it said a random sample, and it didn't say select a region, but I think it would be best if we did. Okay, I'm going to select the West South Central region. So I'm going to find the first one there, shift, right arrow, and I'm going to down arrow until I get all of the West South Central. Okay, and here's my last line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, open a new tab, paste. Okay. Identify your response and predictor variables. So same thing we said before. First, let me delete what we don't need. We don't need the region, so I'm going to highlight West South Central, delete. Those were states. These were counties. These are list prices. We do need that. I'm going to delete column B. We don't need, that's dollars per square foot. We don't need that. Okay, now in Excel, you always want your square feet, you want X in the first column. So I'm going to highlight A, cut, go into C1, paste. Now I'm going to delete column A. Delete. Okay, now let's make this larger. I'm going to change the zoom to 150. And we need our random sample. We're going to do our random sampling that we did the same before, using equals RAND. Double click, enter. Okay, go back to C1, shift, hold down the shift and the down arrow. We're going to go all the way down to the last line. Okay, click back home to home, and then this down, we want to click that. Fill down puts a random number in all of those. Okay, I'm going to click and highlight all of C. I want to sort and filter smallest to largest. Yes, you want to expand the selection. That keeps each row the same. Remember, each row is a specific house. Sort. And I just need the first 50. So I'm going to select, click into A1, Shift, hold down the Shift, hold down the right arrow key. I'm going to go down to my row of 50, cut, new tab, paste. And let's make this larger. View 150%. Okay, so I have square feet in A, list price in B. So X equals square feet predictor variable. Sorry about the typing. Y equals list price response variable. Okay, so let's see what's next. Create our scatter plot. So I'm going to click in A1, hold down Shift, right arrow, down arrow to get all 50, insert, recommended charts, and here I have my scatter plot. Perfect. I'm going to change my title. Square feet versus list price. Okay. I'm going to add chart elements, my titles, horizontal. This is square feet. Make sure your numbers down here are square feet. They should be at like 1,000, 2,000. X should always be along the bottom here. Add another chart element, title, vertical. Double click in there. This is list price. These should be like 100,000, 200,000, so forth. Okay. All right, we've created our scatter plot of our variables, and they do form a line, so our linear regression is appropriate. Okay, so we're in data analysis. Create two histograms. Okay, where it says two variables, create histograms. Histograms with an S on the end of that means more than one. What a histogram does is look at just one single variable. Okay, so what you do, click Shift, hold down the Shift, arrow down, keep holding Shift. We're going to make a histogram for square feet. Okay, a histogram looks at just one variable at a time. A scatter plot looks at the connection between two variables. So we're highlighting just square feet, insert, recommended charts, and this is what we want right here. A histogram looks like a bar graph, so select that. Okay, and you'll probably want to drag it away from your scatter plot. I'm just going to leave it on top of that. You can move yours around. Okay. Take screenshots of each of your graphs as you go through. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to cut. I'm going to add a new tab. And let's paste that histogram there. I think that will work out better. And I'm going to zoom. Okay. Now, our histogram title. What is this? This is square feet. Okay. Now, what does this mean? Okay, make sure you drag out so you can see these numbers down here. What does this mean? This means there are maybe about 42 homes that have square feet in this range right here between 1,455 and 2,315. Okay, so that looks like the bulk of the houses that we selected are in this square feet range. Okay, there's just a few in this square feet range, 2,315 to 3,175, and so forth. Okay, so that's one histogram. We need to do our other one. So this is square feet. What these numbers along the bottom are square feet. So let's make our next one. Let's go back to our sheet. Okay, we need to highlight all the square feet, insert, recommended charts. Okay, and this is a histogram right here. Okay, same thing, I'm going to put it on a new tab. So let's go back to Home, Cut, New Tab, Paste, View, 150%. Okay, let's give it a title. And this is list price. And once again, you want to make sure you can see your numbers down here, all the ranges. Okay. So, what does this mean? A little more than 25 houses are listing for between 163,400 to 263,400. Okay, so that is our second histogram. Okay, let's go back to our instructions, data analysis. Create a table to show mean, median, and standard deviation for your two variables. Okay, let's go back to our data. Okay, I think I'm going to move my scatter plot somewhere else. So I'm just going to cut and paste it over here. Okay, so let's highlight all our variables. Okay, so we've highlighted all the numbers. We want to click Analyze Data. Okay. Now, I don't think I've put in the add-in yet. Here is another way we can do this. Okay, and this might be a good way for me to show you in case you don't have your data analysis also. Okay, so I'm going to make a table. This is going to be square feet. This is going to be list price. This will be the mean, median, and standard deviation. Okay, so I'm going to go in a blank cell, formulas, more, statistical, and the mean is the same thing as the average, so you can just double click average. Now you want the average of A1 to A50 and hit enter. And I'm going to click done. Okay, I want to do the same thing for the median. So I'm still on formulas, more, statistical, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. You can also start typing. So median, double click. I want to do, you can type A1 to, using a colon, A50, and done. Too few arguments, so that's because I was still doing this max. More statistical, median. Okay, we want to find the median of A1 A50, done, or if you're on a Windows, you probably just hit enter. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for the standard deviation. More statistical. We're going to use the sample standard deviation, standard deviation.s, because this is a sample. Okay, and I'm just going to type A1 dot, or excuse me, colon A50. Done. Okay, same thing. The average of this time B1 to B50. Okay, that means everything from B1 to B50. Statistical, median, median of B1 colon B50. Done. And our standard deviation, more functions, statistical, standard deviation of a sample, B1 colon B50. Done. Okay, here's our table. Okay, you can just take a screenshot of it. To insert that into your template. Okay, interpret the graphs and compare to the national population. The national population is given to you. If you'll scroll down, you'll find that in your instructions. Okay. Okay, so on mine, what I would say is the bulk of the list prices are between the 163,400 and 363,400. Okay, and since there are more in those lower ranges, that's called right skewed. Let's look at that. Okay, almost all of these houses are in this lower range. Okay, that's also called right skewed. Let's look at our scatter plot. Okay, our scatter plot, we don't really have any outliers because they all form this line. Okay, they're all in the same pattern, but most of them are in this range right here. If you hover over any point, it will tell you what that house is. Okay, and we can see it's positive correlation. Okay, because it goes up. And let's find our regression model. Okay, so we need our scatter plot. Okay, so double click in your scatter plot. We want to add our chart elements. Okay, click, trend line, linear. Go back to add chart element, trend line, more options. Okay, and what options do we need? Okay, what we need here is we need to display the equation and display this r squared. Okay, click display r squared and display equation. Okay, so the y equals my prediction line, 115.52x plus 25909. That's my prediction equation. R squared equals 0.9086. Okay, find the correlation coefficient. We can do that two ways. We can take the square root of 0.9086 okay, or we can use our correlation from our data. Okay, let's just take the square root. Formulas, more. I think this is under math. Formulas, math. Okay, square root. We want to take the square root of 0.9086 done. Okay, so that is R. Explain how the R value you calculated supports what you noticed. Okay, since this is more than 0.8, it is very strong correlation, and we can see how close the dots are to the line. Okay, next. Determine the line of best fit. Okay, we've got that. That's our y equals. Clearly define our variables. We've done that. Let's do it again. Square feet and list price. X square feet, Y list price. Okay. All right, there's our equation. Interpret the slope and intercept in context. Okay. The slope of 115.52 means that list price increases that much with an increase of 1 square feet. Okay, what the slope means in algebra is the increase in y when x goes up by 1, rise over run. Interpret the intercept. Okay, the intercept 25909. Okay, the slope is the number in front of x. That's called the y-intercept. It's the value of list price when x equals 0 square feet. Okay, so you could think of that as just the land. Okay, interpret r squared. We already found it. R squared, for my r squared value, I got 0.9086. And what that means when you change it to a percent, 90.86% of the change in list price is from changing the square feet. Okay. 90.86% of the change in price is due to square feet. Okay. So if we do equals 100 minus 90.86, that means 9.14% of change in price is from other factors. Okay, could be location, it could be the condition of the home, any other factors. Okay, we know lots of things go into pricing a house. Okay, use your regression equation to predict how much you should list your home based on the square footage. Okay, so we can only make predictions based on square feet from here to here. So let's just pick 2,000. Okay, if x equals 2,000 square feet, list price y would equal 115.52 multiplied by 2,000 and then plus 25909. Okay, now that's not going to do the calculation. That's just how to do it. You can do the calculation if you'll type equals 115.52 times 2,000 plus 25909. Okay, Excel does calculations if you put an equals in front of it. Okay, all right, so that means a 2,000 square foot home should list for about this much, 256,949. Conclusions, okay? Did you see results you expected? Okay, we've done these before. We have seen how square feet affects list price. Okay, what changes would support different results? And one follow-up question. Okay, so you'll create a follow-up question. Okay, it could just be something you could ask about. What are other factors? Why are so many of these homes all right here together, but we have some extremely large ones? Any follow-up question, and then summarize everything that we've done. Okay, please be sure you put it in your template, and don't forget to compare it to the national values. And that is project 1.